This morning we go on the Live Eye with Dawn, and it's about these open concept places where we're making some cozy spaces, yes?
Yeah, exactly. We want to create a bit of intimacy, Kelly, right? Despite having maybe a larger space or a more open concept, because you can kind of get lost in it a little bit, right?
Yeah, you can. I mean, if a room is really wide open, it can feel like a bowling alley if you don't create focal points in each area. So in this home, what we did was in the living room, we have the fireplace, and so it's a very dominant focal point with its black finish. And then in the dining room, the bookshelves act as a backdrop for the dining room, and because they're in the corner, they kind of like hug the dining room, you know? It makes it feel like its own space. And then, of course, in the kitchen, the range draws your eye in there and then allows your eye to travel around. So even though it's a big room, every area has its own personality.
But when we talk to someone like you, who obviously is a designer, so we always love tapping into the way that you think, let's talk color scheme, because that is for a lot of people where they struggle.
It's true. It's true. And in this case, what we did was a cohesive color scheme. So we've got, you know, these soft grays, the warm floor, and then like some of the black accents. And what's happened is, like, overall, you've got, you know, a cohesive color scheme. So all these like nice grays together, and then of course really soft upholstered furnishings with subtle curves will always create like an inviting room.
And it carries from the living room to the dining room, and then of course even to the stools in the kitchen.
Exactly.
Now, you know, there's that idea too of when you think of creating intimacy, you want to incorporate a lot of those personal touches, maybe family photos and all that, but how do you make it not look like you've just got everything, your whole photo album plastered all over the place?
I know, that's what can happen. It can look kind of like a little bit like a junk store or like a thrift store if you're not careful. So what you do is like create collections that have a cohesive theme. So, you know, on the shelf we have lots of ceramics that have an organic feel, but they're really collected from around the world. And then you can kind of toss in eclectic pieces and it all goes together.
So much great information, tapping into the mind and the style of Kelly Deck this morning, Jody. We've got lots more coming up.
Let's check in with Dawn. Country music drop. Are we adding some country to the kitchen?
Exactly. Well, that's what Kelly says, is adding a little country to the kitchen, but we're still keeping it contemporary. And I kind of thought those are almost, they're kind of opposite when I think of style.
That's what you think, right? Because country used to be quite rustic, but now it's just like cleaning it up and making it new, right? So something like a farmhouse sink is a great way to bring country. If you're doing a big renovation into your kitchen, I love a farmhouse sink because they're nice and low and they're really easy to work with. And then in terms of like lighting, if you just want to add a little bit of an accent and change things up, you can do something industrial. I like the black finish on these, and even the brass. And people keep asking me about gold. I mean, brass is back. It's back. Yeah, but it's different than it used to be. It's brushed, it's softer, and if we look at it on a cabinet, these are French gray cabinets rather than white, something again a little bit fresh but still classic. And the brass looks beautiful.
And what an easy way for people to also, if they have an existing kitchen and they just want to do some little upgrade, changing the knobs and handles is really easy to do, right?
It is. All hardware is like standard sizes, so you just need to know what size your little screws are on center, and then you can go and change it up.
And if people want to change the tiles, there is actually a more inexpensive version for people, right?
Yeah, it's true. I mean, tile ranges in price so greatly, but like a Subway tile, which is a classic look, is about $1 to $1.50 a square foot. You can't go wrong.
And then I think of something, when I think of country kitchen, I think of having that open cabinet space, and not everyone can necessarily do full kitchen.
No, because that's stressful. It always has to look good, right? But if you do just one shelving area, and always the key with country is stacking it with white dishware and then like some organic finishes like the wood board in here.
Awesome. I love country Kelly Deck style. For more information on Kelly Deck, you can check out her website. We got lots more coming up, Michelle, throughout the morning, just before 8 o'clock.
And let's head out to Dawn, who's talking decorating with Kelly Deck.
Yeah, and you know, you probably appreciated the 80s, Jody. I know that I was an 80s girl. You're kind of an 80s girl too.
That's true.
And there was a lot of black incorporated in design back then, and we want to incorporate it, but we don't want to sort of go back to the 80s necessarily. Well, I kind of do, but most people don't.
It's true. It's true. Black is different. It's softer now, and we're mixing it in with lots of earthy finishes, and a great way to do that is on a fireplace.
Okay.
So what we did here, we kind of solved the problem of what do I look at? The TV, the fireplace, by creating like an entirely black column where everything just looks really cohesive.
It looks like a big pillar, really.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that's a great idea, and something that would be easy for people to do at home.
Easy and cost effective.
Exactly. Yeah. And even incorporating those black pieces in something a bit more neutral over there.
Yeah, exactly. Like what we were saying, like with the earthy organic kind of wood in the background and then these like sharp black silhouettes. It's a very chic but more organic and sophisticated look than we saw in the 80s.
What did we also do here with the living room?
So in the living room, what I love to do is bring in these soft blacks in accent tables. So, and they don't have to all match, they just have to have a relationship. Everything here has like beautiful materiality to it, and somehow they're kind of in a conversation with each other.
Because what I like here is that it would have been very easy for you to do smaller versions of this as side tables, but no, you've got, again, black, you've got lacquer there, and then you've even got the natural wood,
The wood again,
right
yes.
over here.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and just like all the different metallics, but like just like this sort of like relationship between the materials. That's what's really important.
And no massive plants other than you have some beautiful flowers. You've got these cute little...
Yeah, you know, people always think you have to have like plants that you're maintaining and they get like so big, but really just these like tiny little touches. That's what makes a home feel like a truly a home.
It does feel truly like a home. I may just relax on this couch. We're going to take a little break on Breakfast Television. Russell Kate has your weather, Michelle has your traffic, and of course your news is next. We'll be right back. You're watching BT. Yeah, and I don't know how much you travel, Jody, but I know people like Kelly travel a lot, and there's a lot of our viewers that probably spend time traveling, perhaps picking up a few souvenirs. There actually can be a purpose for those souvenirs with respect to design.
It's true. When I travel, I try to figure out what the local handicrafts are, and those are the things I hunt down. Like with this blanket, it's a Moroccan wedding blanket that I bought in Marrakesh last year, and I found out who the local textile vendor was, and then I hunted him down in a little back alley and, you know, negotiated with him, and so I have this great story, and it also just adds like a story to my home.
And it doesn't have to be expensive, and if you were to
No.
buy something that was inspired,
Yes.
it would be very expensive possibly to buy locally, right? So
Yes.
what a great option. Okay, people that have vaulted ceilings.
Yes.
Sometimes hanging those fixtures can be a very stressful thing for them.
It's true. A lot of the time there isn't like provisions for the electrical in a vaulted ceiling. So what we've done here is we actually added a false beam, and that's where all the electricity is running. And then that way we can drop this gorgeous chandelier and take up the volume of the vault, and it gives the room some glamour.
And it definitely makes it feel very hotel-like. But let's make our way into the bathroom. Where do you want to spend the money?
I believe that you should choose what you spend on in a bathroom, and a stone floor is a great way to do that. This one is absolutely beautiful. Where we also spent was in our design of the shower. Rather than having a big curb to step over, we've sloped the floor, and we have an invisible drain at the back. So just again creating that hotel style elegance.
And then using the tiles that were a lot less expensive
on the wall. Yeah, exactly. You know, just a simple $2 a square foot subway.
Yeah, perfect. Well, we've run out of time, but Kelly Deck has so many great ideas. For more details on how you can work with her, you can check out kellydeckdesign.com. We're going to take a little break here on Breakfast Television. Russ Lacade has your weather. Hey, is it going to be holiday-like weather in Vancouver? What's the weather going to hold? Plus, we've got what's coming up on tomorrow's show. We'll be right back.